Right, it's a while since we've done some videos, so I'm going to start again. I'm going to start off with a fly that has been tested by quite a few people for the last 18 months. Did start on the rivers, but I've come up with a few patterns for the lakes. Some people like them, some people don't. I'm going to show you a little pattern now that has been working very well this year. Been at Drake Cup quite a few times, caught a lot of fish in it. And there's certain days it won't give you advantage, but there's other days it definitely gives you advantage. And a little discussion that I had with a couple of people that I know very well regarding hooks and types of flies. I was fishing with Tony Baldwin the other day and we had a discussion, and there's definitely something in a black hook or a black nickel hook when tied or for buzzers and nymphs and what have you. There's less flash off it and what have you. And then about 2 days later I'm talking to somebody else who then said the total opposite, but the same thing, by when they tie a lure or a blob or something like that, they put them on a silver hook. So the silver adds to the flash of that type of fly, but the black nickel dullens down and becomes part of the fly when it's a nymph or a buzzer. These are just our theories, could be totally wrong, I usually am, but anyway, I'm going to show you how to tie what's called a garfunkel buzzer, and you'll understand why. It's very different. Right, the hook I'm using is a Hannock 266. Now, where there's a little bit of a difference in where it gets its name from. There's your Hannock. It's a size 10, it's a small size 10. And being the age I am and as blind as a bat, then I need these. So there is your size 10 266. So I'm just going to put a little bit of thread on, and I'm going to come back to the eye, which is unusual because you don't normally do that. Now what I'm using is UTC 140 black, and there's a reason for that. Right, where it starts off a little bit different, I don't know if you can actually see it. This is where it gets its name from, the garfunkel eyes. You get the stuff off eBay, and it's basically, it's fibre optic, 0.5 of a millimetre fibre optic. And this idea comes from the old lamps that we used to have back when I was a child. Where you used to see the end of it, the light coming out the end of it. Your mothers had them loads of little things that wafted all over. Anyway, this all started sort of 2 years ago, looking at it, messed around with it, but it really lends itself to certain patterns. Now you can get this fibre optic. I use 0.5, 0.75 and 1. The likes of the 1 is a brilliant one to put on for a sparkle or something like that, or a blob. So here we go. So I'm just going to catch it in, and I'm going to give it 4 turns. Just pull that back a little bit and give it 4 turns the other way. Right, what I'm going to do just for easiness while I'm wrapping it on is just cut it down a little bit. I find these are brilliant, just nail clippers, perfect for tying it. Right, give it a few turns underneath just to make sure you've caught it all in. And what you can do is start building the body up the way you would a normal buzzer. So I'll just catch it in and just go up and down a bit further each time. Now, there's a couple of stages to this fly, and it's just the way I do it. I usually batch flies up in pretty 10s or whatever. Right, what I'm going to do now is catch me strip quill. I use the Vineyards. I think they're pretty good anyway. So I'm just going to catch her in and bring the thread back up, touch and turns, Get rid of that. Now, I'm not really fussed at people say you've got to be exactly dead smooth, and that doesn't make any difference. You know, when you use UV and that, it just smooths the whole thing out. Right, so just to keep me strip quill nice and tight to the body, I'm just going to put a bit of super glue on, and I'm just going to take 2 turns of that. The reason I do 2 turns is I'm a nightmare for snapping these quills. Once you've got the first turn on, it's alright. You have the pliers and then just wind it up. Now, a lot of people do touch and turns. I don't. I leave a little gap in them. I think it just helps with the segmentation of it. I'm not tying flies for fishermen, I'm tying flies that I know over the years have caught a serious amount of fish. So just catch her off. 9 times out of 10 I would have snapped the tip of it. Do a video and it doesn't. Well, never mind. Right, what I'm going to do now is just build this thorax up a little bit. I'll do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that fibre optic. You can get this off eBay. It's about, I don't know, 2-3 quid. Just cut it down until there's about 1mm left on it. Excuse me. Right, this stage, just do a simple, quick refinish. And cut that off. Now I'm sitting here and I've got about 15 or so of these on the bench. What I do is use these pens, and this one's a bright red one, permanent marker. What you do is go on the side of the fibre optic, put that on there, on both of them, turn them on the side, put it on the end of both, and then bring her across there. Put plenty on. You can see the damp ink on it. And keep that pen handy, because now what I'm going to do is, you've got to do this to get it optically not perfect, but as near as damn it. And this is where the trick comes into it. Get yourself a lighter, one of these. I've tried it with a normal lighter and all I do is burn my fingers. So turn the fly on the side, always go from above. If you go from below, it'll ruin it. So go from above and just gently touch it. Turn it over, same with that side. But while it's still warm, get the red pen again and just cover the eyes. And that's sort of the beginning of the garfunkel. Now what I'm going to do is, when I've finished it, I'll bring the camera on this side and let you see it. I don't know if you'll actually catch any. And what happens is you get a real sharp red light coming out. It doesn't add weight to your fly. It's comp legal, but you know, some of the lads who have had them have one that comes on it, but we've had some cracking days just messing around with them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my thread to black UTC 70 and then just catch it in, take it down to there. Everybody's got the preference on goose biots. Yeah, favourite colours. I like this colour. It's a very deep orange. What I'll do is, it doesn't need to be too thick. Just give it a couple of turns there. There you go. Now cover them. Just cover them, make sure, and you build my thorax up as you go. Right, take the thread right back to the fibre optic, and then what you do is pull your quill. I always like to put mine going up on an angle, so I always have the bottom of the quill level with the hook, alright, and just nip that in as close as you can to the fibre optic. Do the same with that side. Basically the quill goes up to the fibre optic, and it just helps finish the fly off, I think. So give it a few turns just to secure it. Pull that back and give it a twist, and they'll snap off lovely. You don't have to cut them and leave draggy ends. So back, there you go, nice and neat. So just give a couple of figure of eights just over the fibre optic again, and then just we'll finish it. That is virtually it. UV. A lot of people whinge about it. Goes tacky. If you touch it, it goes cloudy. Yeah, it will, because you're not curing it properly. What you can do is you can use a torch and that'll set it, but don't touch it. What you need to do is put it in one of these. I've got one sitting here, a hand dryer, that when a woman gets her nails done, she puts them in and she just leaves them there for 15 minutes. Now, when I put UV on, we all know it's like a bluey colour when you've got it under the light. When you put it in there, after you think you've cured it, it's still blue. And if you just leave it in there, and when you're sitting time fly, switch it on, and you'll see over a period of a couple hours, it goes from a bluey tint to crystal clear. That's when it's cured. That's when you can touch it. That's when it won't dull down. So, you know, people are sitting there, and what they're doing is they're using this and then putting a coat of Sally Hansen's on. Can't see the point, you may as well just use Sally Hansen's. So, anyway, I'm going to varnish this now. Sorry, UV it. With thorax first. Now, I usually give it my buzzers 2 coats. First coat, fill in any imperfections in, and trust us, when you see mayflies close up, there's always imperfections. So get that done, and I'm happy with that. Cover the UV, the head, everything. Right, so at this stage we're going to torch out, and you can see the blue tint on it. So just give that a quick zap. Right, I'll put another very thin coat on this time, and this is just the finish of it. So got there. It's great stuff up, I'll tell you this. There you go. So just to zap that again. Now what I'm going to have to do is, because I've got the 2 cameras in front of us, I'm going to have to stop the video and bring it around here so you can see it. Because what happens is, when it's fluttering in the water, you will get little flashes of red light coming off it. And I don't know when you can see it from that side, so I'm going to have to bring the camera on, set it up, and as I move it around like that, you'll see a little flash come off it. What we found is, on a cloudy day, that don't make any difference. It works just like a normal buzzer. But we've definitely noticed a big difference on a sunny day, where the light penetrates better and you get that little bit of a flash. So I'll turn it off now, and I'll put it back on. So there you go, that's the fibre optic showing up. And as I turn it, sometimes it just takes just a little glint of it, but you can see how intense the light is, and that's not any light sort of facing on this side, that's just any light that may come from the back. And the reason we burn it, you create a dome on either side, and what happens is that dome gathers more light, pushes it through the little hole and disperses it through another dome. That's why it brightens up. So there's a little trick for you